Hi, Shannon.
Hello, Tanya.
How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm not bad. I have a weekly episode, so wait, hold on. Let me think what else to say. Joe will have to edit this because I sound like a
Hi,
fucking asshole.
Joe.
Hi, Joe. This is Shannon. Um, I have a new story for wait. Okay. I have a new story for everyone today, but before I get into it, I would just like to remind everyone to hit the subscribe or follow button on whatever podcast app that you're listening to. And
Um,
Shannon, are you ready to hear this week's story?
I've been ready since yesterday.
Okay. Just yesterday.
Specifically yesterday.
All right. So this story takes place in December 2017.
Okay.
And during that time, the tranquil affluence of Toronto's North York neighborhood was shattered by a discovery that would captivate Canada and spark one of the nation's most perplexing criminal investigations. Barry Sherman, who was the billionaire founder of a generic drug giant company called Apotex, and his wife Honey were found dead in their mansion. And their bodies were positioned just kind of like the way that they were left was just kind of odd.
Unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural. Barry Sherman, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Barry. He
Okay.
was born in Toronto in 1942, the son of hardworking Jewish parents who instilled in him a strong work ethic and a drive for success. From an early age, Barry showed a keen intellect and an entrepreneurial spirit. He excelled in his studies, graduating from the University of Toronto's engineering physics program. Like,
Oh,
he was
nice.
smart, smart.
Very.
And he later earned a doctorate in astrophysics from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.
Oh my goodness.
But it was in the world of pharmaceuticals that Barry made his fortune. In 1974, he founded Apotex, which, like I said, was a generic drug company. And Barry's business acumen and aggressive tactics in challenging drug made
Mhm.
patents made Apotex a major player in the industry. And like I said, he became a billionaire.
Right.
At the time of his death, it was estimated that he was one of the wealthiest people in Canada with a net worth of approximately $4.7 billion.
Shut up. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. The money is in the drugs.
Yeah, the pharmaceuticals, man. Of course, we know how shitty healthcare is
Exact
here. Yeah,
pharmaceuticals,
I
the
pay a
drug
fortune.
kingpins.
Yeah,
Yes.
I pay a fortune for my drugs, my legal drugs.
Yes, of course. Yes. Quotes. Let's throw some
Yeah,
quotes.
quote
Tanya.
pharmaceutical drugs. I'm going to tell you a little bit about his wife, Honey.
Okay.
Honey was born in 1948. She was also born to Jewish immigrants in Toronto. She met Barry while she was still a teenager, and they married in 1971. Honey was known for her vivacious personality and her dedication to philanthropic causes. The Shermans used to donate a lot of money to various charities.
Oh, good.
Together,
Nice.
they spent their money that way. They were
Yeah.
this wonderful power com They were this wonderful power couple in Toronto's social and charitable circles, and they donated to places like hospitals, universities, and various Jewish organizations.
Nice.
Yeah, so their life seemed pretty charmed from the outside.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they had four children. They lived in a big, beautiful mansion, and they
I
were
bet.
celebrated for their business success and their charitable giving. Barry was appointed to the Order of Canada in 2017, which is very similar to the Congressional Medal of Honor that's given in the
Oh,
United
okay.
States. So the Order of Canada is for people who make extraordinary contributions to Canadian society.
Right. Okay.
And he got this medal just months before his death. And it was in recognition of his entrepreneurship and philanthropic work. However, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect lives, there were
Mm.
complications. Barry was known for his extreme litigiousness. So he was suing every fucking buddy.
Oh,
And
whoa.
yeah, engaged in numerous lawsuits, both personal and professional. They were also embroiled in a long-running family dispute with
Hmm.
Barry's cousins, who claimed that they owned a stake in Apotex, dating back to a supposed business arrangement from decades earlier.
Okay.
So he's always caught up in court. But despite these challenges, nothing in the public eye really suggested of what was to come.
Right.
They were at the time of their deaths, they were planning a trip to Florida. They had these plans in place. So the last known sighting of Barry and Honey alive was on December 13th, 2017. Late that afternoon, the couple met at Barry's office at Apotex at
Hmm.
their headquarters, and they were discussing design changes for their new home. They were selling the home that they currently lived in. And that house they had been in for almost 30 years. But Honey wanted to be closer to Toronto's downtown area. So
Okay.
they were building a new $25 million mansion in the Forest Hill neighborhood of Toronto. And that place is one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So she was there, wanting to discuss these design changes with Barry.
yeah.
And at the time, she was preparing to leave for a holiday vacation to Miami because it's close to Christmas. It's
Mm,
like, the 13th. So
right.
she was planning to leave to go to Miami in a few days. And then Barry was supposed to join her in Miami the next week.
Okay, so they're trying to sell their house that they've had their mansion of 30 years so they can move
Hmm.
downtown to
Hmm.
the exclusive and they're getting ready to fly out. Are they like snowbirding it or something?
I think it was
Leaving
just for
there?
a vacation
Yeah, okay.
for a few weeks, but
Yeah.
I don't think they had a permanent residence or even a vacation. They probably had
Oh, okay.
residence, but I don't
Right.
think they spent like months and months there. Their lives, Barry still worked at Apotex and,
Yeah.
but on a regular basis. So I believe that
Just a getaway.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a
Nice.
getaway for the holidays.
Right.
That evening from home, Barry sent a routine email to his Apotex staff regarding a drug that was in development. But unusually, he didn't make any phone calls that night, which was really out of character for him because he suffered from insomnia. So he would make phone calls late into the night. But he didn't make any that night. The following day, December 14th, Barry did not arrive for work at Apotex, which
Uh-oh.
raised the eyebrows of the staff. It was really unusual for him to miss work,
Mm-hmm.
like especially without telling anyone.
Right.
However, it doesn't appear that anybody really did anything, like didn't call the check or didn't call the police or do a welfare check or anything like that.
Wow. No one like started the ball rolling
No,
with
not that
those two
day.
things.
Right. So it was only until the following morning, December 15th. So the 13th is the last time they were found or their last seen alive. And now
Right.
on the 15th, their home uh, they weren't expected to be there. So the cleaning staff had already arrived and they entered using a lockbox, which was left by the real estate people
Right.
who were going to be showing the house. And around mid-morning, two real estate agents arrived with a couple that was interested in possibly purchasing this house.
Right.
So after showing the potential buyers the main floor, the agents led them downstairs to view the lap pool and hot tub area. And it was there
Oh,
that
wow.
yeah. And it was there that they made this horrific discovery.
Oh
Can you
my
imagine
goodness.
you're going to see a house, you're just going to go view
I
it, and you find the owner's dead? Like,
This is like a scene in a movie, chit-chatting down to the indoor pool and
yeah.
blah blah blah. Life's
And,
so
and
good.
you're like,
Sweet
right?
God.
Exactly.
Oh my
So
goodness.
their bodies were found on the ground next to the pool. They
Mm.
both had leather belts around their neck, which were
Oh,
tied to a metal railing that was a little over a meter high, and this railing surrounded the pool. Barry was seated on the pool deck with his legs crossed, like you're sitting up and your legs are, your ankles are crossed.
right.
Honey was laying on her side and her face showing obvious bruising. Their coats were pulled down over their shoulders. So like you know, you think you pull it down like from behind on someone. So their
Right.
arms were restrained. And
Oh,
other than that, they were both fully clothed and they were facing away from the pool.
right.
And one of the real estate agents later described how they were laying was sort of like a meditation or a yoga pose, is how it
Mm-hmm.
looked to that person. Honey's cell phone was found in a bathroom that she reportedly never used, and that suggested that maybe she tried to call for help
Mm-hmm.
before she was overpowered by someone.
Right.
Barry's gloves and paperwork that was related to a house inspection were discovered on the ground just outside the garage door, which was on the path to the basement pool. So maybe he was accosted
Mm.
like near the garage door,
Yeah.
you know. So
Right. Caught unawares. Right.
right, you
Dropped.
know, and dropped his gloves and his paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators noted that a window had been left open to air out a freshly painted room and a basement door was unlocked, which apparently was normal for the Shermans. They often left this door unlocked. So that led initially to speculation that maybe the perpetrator or perpetrators might have been familiar with the house
Yeah.
layout and the couple's habits, you know, possibly
Sure.
after they committed this crime, possibly escaping through the neighboring backyards. But, and so now you have this crime, and this discovery sends shockwaves through Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're these, this billionaire couple. News
Right.
spread, and the question on everyone's lips was, you know, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they were in their home. You know, you think there's like security systems and things like that.
Who would do
And
this to them?
right, who would do this to them? It sparks, you know, just this, you know, just this wondering if,
Fear and oh my
yeah.
goodness.
The Toronto Police Service quickly took charge of the investigation, but their initial approach would later come under intense scrutiny.
Hmm.
Early statements from the police suggested they were leaning toward a theory of murder suicide, which was a stance that infuriated the Sherman's family and
Right.
friends who insisted, you know, such a scenario was just inconceivable. Like that would never happen.
Right.
And over the following several months, this case did not appear to make much progress. In October of 2018, which was nearly a year after the bodies were discovered, the
Mm-hmm.
Sherman family took an unprecedented step. Frustrated with the perceived lack of progress in the police investigation, they announced a staggering $10 million reward,
Wow.
right,
Nice.
for
Yes.
information leading to the arrest and prosecution of a suspect. And this move not only underscored the family's determination really to find justice for their loved
Yeah.
ones, but also sort of highlighted their dissatisfaction with the official police investigation.
Thank you. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Brian Greenspan, who was a high-profile lawyer representing the Sherman family, he didn't mince words when discussing the police effort. He claimed
Mm-hmm.
the investigators had failed to collect crucial evidence, which was a serious allegation that
Mm-hmm.
really put additional pressure on the Toronto Police Service. The family's decision to offer such a substantial reward and publicly criticize the investigation marked a real turning point in the case.
Mm.
Police Chief Mark Saunders was quick to defend his department's work.
Really?
Obviously, yeah, he revealed that a forensic pathologist had been dedicated to the case, working alongside more than 50 officers. He insisted the investigation was thorough and it was ongoing. He cited impressive numbers. He said that over 200 witnesses were interviewed and over 2,000 hours of video surveillance were collected from neighboring homes. And these figures were meant to reassure the public that, you know, no stone was being
Yeah, they're on
unturned.
it.
Yeah, they're on it. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they were serious about trying to find who these
Yeah.
the killer or killers were. The tension between the family's private investigators and the police were palpable.
Mm.
When asked if the police would be willing to collaborate with the independent experts hired by the Shermans, The police chief gave a cautious response. He said that such cooperation would be possible only if the private investigative team were to be accepted in a court proceeding, which I guess means like, would they be able to testify? I don't know what would prevent them from it, but
Right.
it seems kind of, I don't know. It just seems like
An
a,
odd question.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
you know. And as the investigation progressed, like the official one, the
Hmm.
scale of the police effort became more clear. By October of 2018, the police had obtained 37 warrants related to the case. But despite these efforts, concrete breakthroughs remained elusive.
Oh my gosh.
I know. In a significant development, the police announced in April of 2019, so 6 months later,
Hmm.
that they had developed a working theory of the case and they had an idea of what happened, quote unquote. Um,
Yes.
they didn't share it, but
Oh, they had a working theory.
yeah,
Okay,
they had a
but
working theory and kind of, had this idea of what happened, but they didn't share it. And a few months later, in June of 2019, it was revealed that Barry had planned to give to charity or invest much of his fortune. So this information added a new dimension to the case, highlighting
mhm.
maybe the potential impact of their death on
Sure.
charitable causes that they contributed to. However, there was a revelation at the end of 2019. So now it's been almost 2 years since their death.
Right.
That kind of shook up the established narrative. There was a reporter for the Toronto Star. His name was Kevin Donovan. He had just published a book called The Billionaire Murders about the case.
Hmm.
In that book, he disclosed that investigators had revised their timeline. It was believed the Shermans had been killed early on December 15th. Like that was um,
Actual.
no, that was the assumed narrative.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they had last been seen on the 13th. Barry doesn't go to work on the 14th. Then on the 15th is when the real estate agents showed up and everything. So
Okay.
police had been going on the timeline that, they were killed maybe earlier that same day. However, the new theory suggested that the murders had occurred 2 days earlier on December 13th. So it could be like when Barry was not making those phone calls,
Yes.
could be
Oh,
because he was already
yes.
dead, right? So
Yep.
they're thinking maybe it was within a couple of hours of when they got home. So
Hmm.
this revised timeline now has raised new questions and possibly opened up new avenues of investigation. And it also really highlights the trouble that these investigators are having, like really trying to, come up with suspects and things like that.
Yeah. To start off with a bad date, like who brought them home? That would be like
Yeah,
the who saw them last?
right,
Because
right.
those phone calls, that's the if that's the first red flag, that's where you start. Not
Yeah,
on the 15th,
right. When
you
people are
know.
acting out of character,
Yes, the
not
first
doing,
time.
yeah, not doing like their normal routine type things,
Hmm.
it just seems
And he
like,
just sounds like a guy that had such a presence. I
mm-hmm,
mean, not just because of his wealth, just if he's always in litigation, I just picture him a fire sign,
yeah.
you know.
Yes, yes, exactly. Probably was.
Hmm.
As time passed, the hope for a quick resolution of the case really began to fade. In April of 2022, which now it's been over 4 years
Wow.
after the
Yeah.
murders, the Toronto police made a sobering statement. They described the case as quote unquote, unfortunately old, and they were saying it's still in the investigation phase. No charges had been filed against anyone, and the police took the unusual step of asking the court to seal the case documents from the press to protect the integrity of this ongoing investigation. So they didn't really want like anything leaked to the press any
Right.
further. This move to seal the documents suggested they might have some sensitive information that they didn't want
Hmm.
made public, either to protect potential witnesses or prevent the perpetrator or perpetrators from knowing how much the authorities had uncovered. It also
Mhm.
fueled a lot of speculation and conspiracy theories among those who followed the case closely.
Mhm.
Despite the passage of time and apparent lack of progress, the Shermans' family had determination to find the answers. That determination didn't waver.
Mhm.
December of 2022, 5 years after the murders, the Sherman's son increased the reward to an astounding $35 million. That
Oh
reward.
my gosh.
I know, right?
That is the 10 million. You think for sure that's
Right.
gonna make someone inspire, motivate.
Yes.
But now 35.
Yeah, I would
And
think
if
I
you
would turn in
have
my
it,
own.
you know what? If you have it and you love them, do it. Yeah, I
Yes.
can't. How do I find fault in that they did that? Oh, just because they had money, good for them.
Yeah.
Because
I
if it
mean,
was
Shannon,
reversed,
I
yeah.
might have to turn you in for $35 million.
Yeah. Oh, honey, I would never look at myself as being, yeah, 35 for sure. That's
I mean, if you turned
hilarious.
me in to get a $35 million reward, I don't think I could be mad at that, you
Oh
know?
my God. I know. It's to tip my hat,
Yeah,
milady. Well played.
exactly. I mean, I might have
Oh,
done it for the 10 million. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I
But I
mean,
get it. Like you think
yeah,
that everyone's all like, oh, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
yeah, right.
I'm going to Miami.
Hmm. So, given Barry Sherman's vast business empire and the sometimes cutthroat nature of the pharmaceutical industry, who fucking knew? I had no idea,
Oh,
right?
I bet. These are drug
Yeah.
lords, Tanya.
Yes.
Just with the
Yes.
white coats. Don't
Hmm.
let the fancy PH
Yeah,
mislead you.
exactly. So the speculation about potential suspects had been rife from the beginning. Barry himself had acknowledged the dangers that came with his position at Apotex, once telling an interviewer, quote, "For $1,000 paid to the right person, you can probably get someone killed. Perhaps I'm surprised that hasn't happened," end quote. So he kind of knew,
See?
know?
Well, it's probably what he's seen and heard.
Yeah,
And I mean, if
right.
it's
I mean, people get nuts when it comes to money.
many truths are uttered in jest.
Isn't that the truth? So, one early theory centered on Barry's cousin named Carrie Winter. At the time of the
Mm,
homicides, Barry had just won a ruling that Carrie Winter owed him $300,000 in legal fees related to a dismissed lawsuit. And
mm,
Carey himself fueled speculation by admitting to having both motive and opportunity, given his flexible work schedule as a construction supervisor. He
mm.
even confessed to imagining killing Barry, but he maintained his innocence, claiming he was watching Netflix and attending a cocaine anonymous meeting on the night of the murders.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay.
I was at my cocaine anonymous meeting
Yeah.
and I was
I'll
watching some
call it
Netflix.
NA, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, watching some Netflix.
But I
Another potential suspect involved Barry's son, Jonathan Sherman. 2 weeks before the murders, Barry had asked Jonathan to repay tens of millions of dollars that were borrowed for Jonathan's storage business. However,
Hmm.
Jonathan explained that this was just a temporary measure to help his dad through a difficult financial situation, and he emphasized that they had a close personal and professional relationship. So that
Hmm.
one really didn't go anywhere.
That
Um,
turned out to be correct. Like that
yeah,
was true.
yeah, I
Okay,
think that was
good.
true. Yes,
Because I did wonder, my immediate was siblings and then
children.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So
I know, because who would inherit all that money?
yeah, who's gonna benefit the most? So
Hmm. The Sherman family's efforts to keep details of the estate secret, like because they have this huge estate, and that
sure.
became a legal battle in itself. In Canada, court documents and related proceedings, which include files that dealt with an estate after death, they are typically public, just like they are in the United States.
Oh, okay.
An Ontario Superior Court judge initially applied a protective order to the file, which meant it was kind of under wraps.
Right.
But the Toronto Star, the newspaper, appealed that and they won. The family's subsequent appeal to the Supreme Court was unsuccessful, with the court upholding the unsealing of the documents in June 2021.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Despite the ongoing mystery surrounding their parents' death, the Sherman children have continued their family's legacy of philanthropy. Philanthropy?
Mm-hmm.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again. Despite the ongoing mystery surrounding their parents' death, the Sherman children have continued their family's legacy of
Philanthropy. Say it with me, Tanya.
philanthropy. Philanthropy. In 2020, Sherman's daughter, her name is Alex. She
Okay.
established the Honey and Barry Sherman Legacy Foundation to honor her parents' memory and further their unfinished philanthropic aims. Alex is a registered nurse and a
Okay.
philanthropist, and she leads two charitable foundations. One is her married name, which is Cros. It's it's KRAWCZYK.
Okay. CZYK. I think that's Czech.
So Krawcheck Family
Yeah,
Foundation
maybe.
and the Honey and Barry Sherman Legacy Foundation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there's another suspect that I haven't mentioned yet. His
Okay.
name is Frank D'Angelo. He was a longtime associate of Barry Sherman with a checkered legal history, but he denied any involvement, stating that Barry's death was, quote, the worst thing that could have happened to him, end quote. In November 2020, Toronto police announced that they had identified a person of interest, but they later
Hmm.
clarified that this could refer not only to one person, but to multiple people.
Hmm.
So at this point, November 2020, we haven't arrested anyone. And now, because the police have said, oh, we have a person of interest, it's now sparked this new interest in this case. But
Right.
again, the details of what's going on remain scarce. A year later, in December of 2021, police released security camera footage of a suspect. The video was 20 seconds long, and it showed a person dressed in dark clothing walking down a snow covered sidewalk in the Sherman's neighborhood. Detective Brandon Price stated that the timing of this individual's appearance seemed to align with when they believed that the murders took place, and
Hmm.
it led them to classify this person as a suspect. This release of footage was a significant development, offering the public the first glimpse of a potential perpetrator.
Right.
It also indicated that the police had been holding on to crucial evidence, perhaps waiting for the right moment to make it public. So I told you like there were court documents that
Yeah.
were being released. So there were more that were released in January of 2022. And
Mm.
it included a statement from Honey Sherman's sister, Mary Schechtman. And that introduced a new and controversial angle to the case. Mary suggested that the motive for the killings might have been related to religion, because I told you they were Jewish. And she
Right.
pointed out the Shermans were strong supporters of Israel and that Honey was vocal about being Jewish. Um, her statement to police included a startling claim, and she said that 6 months before the murders, Honey had attended a lecture about stopping money from getting into Muslim fundamentalists' hands. And
Mm.
according to Mary, Honey believed that cutting off funding to these groups could bankrupt them and prevent money from being used for terror, like, terrorist type activities.
Right.
And Mary told police that she believed Barry was providing funding for this. Like he was the one that was um, funding these things. So I don't know,
Right.
I don't know. Um, the theory really didn't go anywhere, but it's suggesting now maybe that their murders were political in
Oh, trying to
motivation.
put that facet on the. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
You know, it's not necessarily maybe a business issue or a
Sure. As it
family
more
issue. It could be like political or ideology.
religious
Yeah, or
issues. Yes.
exactly, right?
Hmm.
The same court
I see.
documents that were released in 2022 revealed that Barry owed a staggering $1 billion to other companies leading up to his death, a debt that he stated he wasn't going to pay. So this financial pressure added another layer of complexity to the case,
Oh yeah.
expanding again this pool of potential suspects with a motive, because if he's owing a lot of money,
A lot of money, $1 billion. That's
billion
not going
dollars.
nowhere.
No. The Sherman's family offer of the $35 million reward, that stands as the largest in history for a criminal case.
Mm.
Um, and the case has far, yeah, wait a minute, sorry, hold on. The case as it stands today hasn't
Mm.
been solved. I'm sorry to break it to everybody. After telling you this story, it still remains unsolved. And
Oh my
Talia and
gosh.
I always hated unsolved cases.
Yes.
But the thing that intrigues me about unsolved cases is just the mystery of it. Like,
Hmm.
like everyone enjoys a good mystery. And unfortunately, I mean, two people were murdered in this case, but
Right.
the mystery of it is so interesting. Like, there's just so many facets to this story. It's like, who could possibly have done this to these people?
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
I hate, yes, I absolutely hate, and they're so frustrating
right.
because to me, the money should have been easily to fluff out. Oh, hmm. You think the money should be easy to fluff out, maybe lower thinking energies, money,
Yeah,
if
like,
that's
oh,
what
maybe
rules you.
like a hitman was hired, right?
Yeah.
Or, somebody is a business, has business dealings with the Shermans, and, he goes home and tells his wife, oh, I hate that motherfucker, or something like
Yeah,
that,
who can't use $10 million? Who can't
Right,
use 35 million?
right.
I mean, but then that must mean it must be something real deep. It must be
I know,
something pretty
right?
nefarious.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, their kids hired somebody to do
Yeah,
this,
we
or their
want an
family.
inheritance. This is,
Yeah, there's some deep shit going on in this one. Has to be.
yeah, there's some like Kabbalah stuff or something. I don't
I
know.
know. So in
Oh my
20,
gosh. Well, Tanya, I'm
oh, I'm not
so
done, girl.
shut up.
There's just
Shut up.
there's a few other things.
Please tell me my bad. Can he edit that out?
Oh yeah, Joe will
Oh,
edit that out.
Joe. I'm sorry. I didn't have an edible.
Yeah.
So, whew. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Just another minute or two.
I love
Um, The house where the murders took place was demolished in May of 2019.
mm,
So the land was purchased in 2020 by a woman that lived nearby who put it on the market in 2023, like after the house was demolished.
right.
And so, I think it was probably in a really great neighborhood. So it's kind of like a symbolic move to distance,
Ah,
you know,
yeah.
the property from its dark past. And even the address of the property has changed since the tragedy.
Tanya, it's like a portal that's so
Yeah.
violent there.
Right.
To be honest, I would never buy. I mean, I'm no real estate agent.
Yeah. I'm no real estate mogul.
And I love Toronto. You and I have been there
Oh,
a couple of
yeah.
times. We love it. I would love to live there. I love
Yeah.
Toronto.
Toronto's a great place.
But
Yeah.
when something violent like that happens,
Hmm.
I'm glad that it was demolished and I'm glad that it was purchased. I'm thinking, did she just plant it up with sage?
Yeah.
Have a have a
Yes.
ceremony?
Just burn the entire property with sage, right?
You know how the end of Carrie is. You
Hmm.
gotta you gotta cleanse that place.
Yeah, right. So, today, like I said, it remains unsolved.
Mm,
Um, the public has criticized the police and the family has criticized, but there has never been an arrest made.
mm.
And the case has become one of Canada's most notorious unsolved crimes. And I hope someday it does get solved. I hope there's a break in the case. You think that $35 million
We
would,
do a lot of talking, a
yeah,
lot of
but it's something deep. It's
it
gotta
is.
be.
Yeah, it's like so, you know, like yeah, I did I already said Kabbalah, but it's just like I don't know if that amount can't solve it, then it's definitely what's higher than money that can't,
I know, right?
now I think we're in the spirit realm.
Yes. I think there's something
Yeah,
else.
exactly. But I love that. It really is jaw-dropping. 35 million.
Yeah, that's not like, oh, there's $50,000 out there waiting. And $50,000 is a lot of money.
It
I'm
would
not sneezing
probably
at it.
expose so much.
Right.
It reminds me just off topic a little bit. I remember Shark Tank, and
Mm-hmm.
this woman had brought this product that could kill bed bugs. And it was so good that like all hotels would want it. I mean, motels, hotels. From what I remember, the guy in the middle, the guy with the bald head, I can't think of his name, but he always tries to
Mr.
make
Wonderful. Yeah.
deals, Mr. Wonderful. Yeah, yes. I believe the whole panel went in for like some great amount of $1 million. And she knew that it was so worth, and that's true. Like, I'm going to get the big cut. I've invented this that will be worldwide killing
Yeah.
bed bugs, which is a super bug, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So, I'm sorry, my niece is calling. Let me decline. She wants to play Roblox with me.
Oh.
She is adorable. So yeah, girl, great story. I mean, my condolences, yes, for the family, and I
Yeah.
pray for that, yeah,
I
something,
I
but
hope they get closure someday.
that's important. Yeah, a piece, yeah, closure, the piece, and
Yeah,
just
the unsolved ones are just heart-wrenching. Like,
absolutely.
it's a tough one.
So,
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for listening, and thank you
oh,
everyone
my
for tuning
pleasure.
in. Or tuning in is such an old expression. I feel old saying it, but I'm sorry. I'm saying tuning in.
We're
Thank you.
gonna we're gonna look up some new
Yeah,
terms on our off
exactly.
time.
I know. Thank you for hitting play on your podcast app
Yes,
and
thank you for
listening.
being with us. We
Yeah, and
appreciate
don't
and love
forget,
you.
if you haven't done so already, please hit like or subscribe on whatever app you're listening to. If you would like to go to our website, it's crimesandconsequences.com. There's merchandise, and we will be updating it with Shannon's information pretty
Hmm.
soon. And let's see what else. We are on social media, but we are
Yes,
working on getting that going more. But it's at Hardcore True Crime. And if you subscribe, you'll know when we start becoming more active on it.
absolutely.
And I think that's everything.
It is
So,
everything, I
yeah.
believe.
So until our next episode, Shannon.
I'm speaking with my eyebrows. Okay, Tanya. Until next time, my friend.
Yes.
Mwah.
Until next time, we will see you. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.